there was 5 areas that I came up with that is me. When you think of, if you're walking down the street and someone was to mention my name, you can say, no, I know 5 things about this guy that is him. And it's going to be him for the rest of his life. And I'm so excited that I discovered those 5 things.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You going to fill us in? The 5?
I'm glad you asked that. I'm glad you asked. What are those 5 things?
You teed me up. You know how to ask. It's part of the job.
So, number 1, I will provide scholarships for San Antonio Bexar County graduating seniors through my Priest Holmes Foundation. Number 2, I will continue to be an advocate for former players and provide them the resources and the essential needs that they and their family needs. So number 3 breaks down to 3 parts. It's family, it's friends, it's children. And it's for me to have a more fulfilling life with any of those people that I've identified that are in that group. Number 4 is to continue to build my real estate portfolio. And then number 5, I have like 15 hobbies that I had to kind of come up with because I was talking to a psychologist, right? And she told me, she says, so give me some of your hobbies at that time, right? And I told her like swimming, spinning, working out, and everything was geared towards like my career, like working out, being in shape. You know, it was all geared towards that. And she's like, no, non-sports related, give me some hobbies. It literally took me like 2 weeks before I saw her again to find out, like, I don't even know what my hobbies would be. I don't even know what I like. I'm always so geared to something sports related that I never took the time to just consider that. And so I finally did, and I came up with some awesome things that I like to enjoy. So now those 5 areas that if anyone mentions me, that's what I'm about.
There you go.
Yes.
Ooh, does that look good, Priest?
You know, that's good, Derek. You know what they say, that the cut of a tomato can trick the mind to thinking you're eating meat. Because really when you chew, it's all about the cut. So if you get cut potatoes, you get cut tomatoes, you get beans, it's as if you're eating a good steak.
Keep telling yourself
yeah,
that.
No, right? Keep telling myself that, right?
We talked previously about the different things that you've dedicated your life to going forward. And one of the things you mentioned is serving the Players Association of former players that are in the same boat or maybe not as fortunate as you are nowadays. Talk to me where that drive comes from, that desire to want to help the guys who have been there and done what you've done.
Well, it comes from an area of that in order for me to reach my success and even reach the pinnacle of the success as a running back, it took people coming into my life and pouring into me and giving me the skill set, giving me the confidence, and then also encouraging me, you know what I mean, to take that leap of faith. You know, I was just in Baltimore for a former players meeting, and so to give you kind of a brief synopsis of that, it's like there's like 32 chapters, right?
Okay.
For every city, there's a chapter of former players.
Okay.
But there's maybe 3 or 4 cities like San Antonio where there's no NFL team, but there's a good presence of football players that are former players. And so I was able to, in 2010, to ask that question, well, why can't we have a chapter? We have a presence of football players that are former players. You know, how do we have this put in San Antonio? And so, you know, I got in touch with all of the former players here. We met downtown, we selected our officers, and boom, we started up our chapter, and we provide 2 scholarships, 1 male, 1 female every year, and then we also participate by going into schools and speaking to students. And so, you know, that's really helped me as an individual, and I know that that's what it takes someone pouring into your life and giving you an opportunity. One of the hardest things that I have to live with is knowing what former players go through, and that is, for example, a player retires, whether he retires on his own time or not. Let's just say that he doesn't retire when he wants to. Well, when he gets ready to retire and it's not on his call, there's generally a guy or a player that's disgruntled, mad at the league, maybe mad at the family, and then leaves the NFL and then doesn't want to have anything to do with the NFL, right? And then many times, by the time you can bring that player back into the fold, it's too late. And when I say it's too late, there's like statutes on how long some of your benefits will last. And you have guys that have disappeared, and then you're trying to reach out to them, and you meet them 3 or 7 or 10 years later, and then you're telling them, hey, you got help, there's resources available, you need to call this number, this 1-800 number to our union, and then they call in the union and they get the answer, well, you're a day too late or you're a year too late. And those resources that could have really benefited your children, you walked away from them. There's players that are going through that. And I would rather every player get what they deserve, that they've sacrificed their body for, and then get those resources and benefits that are available to them.
When you look at everything that you're able to do and what you did in the NFL, and it all circles back to your days here as a kid in San Antonio, middle school days, and then what you were able to do at Marshall and the great run you enjoyed there, how much of it stems from who you were as a kid and growing up on these streets?
Well, I'll tell you this, that we used to play football on the pavement, on the street. And you only got tackled when you ran past a mailbox. And I know in my subdivision today, there's however many houses on my street, and then there's just one mailbox with like different boxes, right? And you just pick your number, that's your mailbox. Well, when I was younger, we had our own individual mailbox. And so when the big kids would see you running down the street next to the curb, they would intentionally wait on it. Here comes the mailbox, bam, let's hit them right into the mailbox, you know what I mean? So I grew up on that type of environment, of where you had to prove yourself, you had to play with the big kids. You know how many kids that were my age at the time would not even dare step on that street and play? Because they knew they were either going to get tackled on the pavement or they were going to get smashed into a mailbox. And so that's kind of, I guess, what brought me to that stage of like being a tough running back, persevering, regardless of the injury, you play with it, and so that pretty much was my career a lot of times,
We'll see. Priest, appreciate your time, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
it's been a pleasure.
Got to start up the meal with the...
Start up the meal and end it with it as well. Appreciate your time. Thank you. It's been an honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.